Good, good. Let me think how I'm going to title this one, but let me do this one again. Okay? Let me ask you something. I'm introducing myself, and look at the clothing I have on today. That was once submitted to the top business leaders in the nation. It's a facade. Facade. It's quality and substance that really counts. How much do you know about me? Do you know anything? There's social sciences and the highest level of expertise of health. Or is it? Let me go back to that introduction originally. And I'm going to do it again. So, how I label this? 10/2012 Revised Introduction Experience. Okay. Let me ask you something. What is the highest level of expertise as far as social sciences? It's health. Or is it? How much do you know about me? Do you know anything? I've learned it. I've experienced it. I know exactly who I am for over 40 years. And I'm me building on curiosity, because I probably got a whole lot more learning about how things work and beliefs, because they weren't simply told to me. I was told. Now, I had great parents, and what I understand, I'm very fortunate, all of that. But the encouragement to learn how things work, building on curiosity, growth and maturity goes on indefinitely, fully validated. I understand now, by going back to a dream, how are you going to learn it? I asked, possibly some relatives, and I believe my mother was there. That was something I was able to retrieve from over 47 years ago, played back like a movie. They said, I asked about the belief they were talking about. And they came back and said to me, hey, go out there and tell us what you learned and experience, come back to us and share it with us. Now, it goes on indefinitely for the rest of forever. Very, very fortunate, fully confirmed in Lake Forest, in the healthiest context, higher level of growth and maturity, exceedingly high on me. I'm extremely fortunate. So I'm guessing those learning about building on curiosity, growth, and maturity goes on indefinitely. I have a lot more experiences, because instead of just being told the way it is, here I am. It also has very strong investigative skills. I can tell you that much. At the highest level of EQ. But I'm introducing myself again. I'm going to label it Revised Introduction. I'm going to pop it in 10/2012 as we get up to the current status. So, how much do you know about me? First impression, for sure, and a whole lifetime of what you've experienced. As dreams are so important, very important, I understand. So, how much do you know about me? It's a facade. It's an image. It's the first impression. It's vitally important. I'm taking a guess, though, because at high level substance, too, very I understand unique and quite gifted with the experience I've had in life in over 40 years. You don't know me very well. You know me pretty well now. You're getting to know me better. But let me go back to that again. Let me ask you. Let's relate. First impression. Now I'm getting to know you. One incorporated norm and a different. No, you relate and you share. You get to know one another based on sharing and relating similar exactly in the same context. So I'm going to take all those experiences I've had, and I understand we all have the same amount of psychological energy to utilize. Okay? And as we talk, it's truly amazing, like I mentioned on the first introduction, at the very beginning. I think I labeled that 10.4 or 10.5. I revised some files here. Okay? And let me ask you something. How much do you know about me? I think by now you know me very well. Isn't that great? That's what relationships and life is about. And when we get together, we relate about. For me, I have different experiences and a different background. But when I bundle up a couple of thousand of those 16-hour-a-day reference points as far as experience, I'll put it as a couple of words, sentences, and paragraphs. Relate. It's truly, that is just amazing what we can do by bundling up that kind of experience. See, for me, I understand from psychologists and the highest level of expertise, it is a higher level of growth and maturity than most people achieve in their lifetime. Perfectly normal. It's someone who keeps building, a lifelong learner for the rest of my life, of learning how things work, then coming back to you and telling you all about it. I think most people simply very often are just told that belief. They're not encouraged. Instead of telling me, my parents told me, go out there, experience it, learn it, come back to us. Sure, they were there to correct me. Of course they were. But they told me, building on those beliefs can go on for an entire lifetime. For the rest of my life, curiosity, growth, and maturity goes on indefinitely. You know what? It's true. Absolutely. Forever. I don't know what the limit is, but I understand we have almost infinite 16-hour-a-day experiences, which I understand in the dreams are chived, and we only have today. So, thank you very much. Now, what about if those incorporated norms you'd relate? Wouldn't you? I understand I am an interesting one, though. I'm extremely, see, I think I've already described it over. This is the most valuable time I can possibly see. I'm investing this time. It's vitally important for my survival, God forbid, at this point. I've just shared with you about 52 years, but really 50. By recollection, it would be about 50. It's razor sharp. I'm able to retrieve all of those tens of thousands of experiences and output it in a sentence, word, paragraph, or actions. We are truly amazing to have that ability. We are so very fortunate. I think you're going to find this to be most interesting, what I've shared with you in all of these reviews. I do thank you. I thank you very, very much. I understand what I'm doing here by psychologists and psychiatrists from all different backgrounds, old money, in one of the most successful areas of the country. Normal. It's a higher level of growth and maturity than most people achieve in their lifetime. Now, I understand. I'm very, very fortunate. And yet, then I come down here after, God knows how many years. What was it, 42? And at age 44, on one specific date, all of that changed. It shouldn't have. It would have remained the same on the Chicagoland North Shore. But I decided to come down to the southern states, which make absolutely no difference. Or does it? I'm going to leave that determination of what I have shared with you. Let me do one other thing. I'm going to revise my career history in number 2s from this point forward. Okay? I'm going to repeat it again. 1996 through 2001, number 2s. 1994, number 2, and do that up to the current date. Okay? Then, I'm going to share with you, clarify. All of these files I have shared with you will absolutely prove psychological practice has occurred in a completely different incorporated norm. Who am I to say that? I had to experience it and learn it. We are so fortunate to be able to take all of those experiences of what we have learned and experienced. There can be, I don't know how many you can do at a time, but I know I don't know if it's a couple. I have a feeling it's hundreds of thousands. We can compute it in just a couple of words, sentences, and paragraphs. It's truly amazing. And then it becomes a science of the mind at a high level, at the highest level, to come to an understanding, or does it? I'll leave that determination up to you, because you're going to see me now begin clarifying head on what I have experienced and learned here. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I understand all we have is today, and I'm still doing it chronological. And as honest as I can be, thoroughly honest, a healthy person always finds a solution. We grow, we learn, we experience forever. Unless I'm proving psychological malpractice, absolutely, without any question. There's a lot you don't know anything about, but I think it's very much evident on some of these videos I've done here. Now I'm going to make sure that absolute truth comes out in absolute survival, where there's a possibility, and probably there's a very good possibility, to have one survival, which will absolutely, I only want to think about something crazy like anything but the healthiest context. I would never want to think of something of harming another person or ulterior motives or any of that. That's unheard of from the background I come from. I've only experienced the highest level of honesty and integrity for over 44 years. On one specific date, all of that transformation began to occur. I'm going to prove this now. Regardless of what I look like as that occurs over the next 8 years, I don't even question this is, in its proper context, I believe this will happen. It will be historic as far as the social sciences. I understand. I am really very, it's only 15 minutes too. Look how clear I am compared to some of those other, look at them and decide for yourself. I'm going to now, even though I'm dealing with some very serious issues, in the next 5 days here, okay, I am relating to you exactly what my background is going to be, further clarified with 1996 through 2001. And then in 2002, I'm going to clarify exactly the same substance to the T, what happened. I very clearly can see these last couple of videos here, even though the dates and reference points are all over the place, chronologically, I know I'm going to make an index, what you're seeing on YouTube and how I've chronologically entered them in. Even though I'm bouncing all over the place. But it is much easier because I got tens of thousands of reference points to output that in a couple of words, a couple of sentences, a couple of paragraphs. And you're going to get to know me so well. And unfortunately, in this case, on 2004 forward, all of that incorporated norm began to change with something else that I experienced and learned about that is quite a bit different than I have ever experienced in over 40 years. And that is the highest level of expertise in a different incorporated norm. It will be very clear that there's been psychological malpractice committed here. I am still going to refer to date ranges in a wide spectrum, earlier and later. I've already done it once, and I'm going to keep it. I am still dealing with present day, and some of that comes into play. These next reviews I'm going to do here, I'm going to do everything in my power. When you've seen my reaction, look at my reaction as that's occurring between 2004 up to 2012, relative to what's been true about my life, all the way back to 1960. I'm doing something that I understand is very hard to prove. There's a lot still that you won't know anything about. It will be further clarified when I'm not dealing with current day. Well, that's always going to happen. When you're not having the current aspects with about a 5-day restraint here. 5 days I had. It's got extremely stable. But other than getting off, a little bit here, I'm going to do all I can now to clarify this. And I'll leave the decision up to you, what you see between 2004 and present day for me. That is what I'm going to put in on number 2, because we're just talking about career. I mean, that's it. Piece of cake, one single phone call. And yet, I will share with you how. And this will be most interesting, won't it? Never should have happened. Another thing, too. Regardless of how much has happened here, did I do it to myself? Did I do this to myself? Or, very clear in the last video or two before there now, okay? Did I do this to myself? Am I confused? Did I injure myself? It's me, only me, and I'm responsible for me only. Or is it completely a different incorporated norm? I think the last 2 videos I just did, the last couple of videos, are very outstanding now compared to, you're seeing it for yourself. I'm going to go over one more time what I experienced in 1996 through 2001. Then I'm going to pick it back up in 2004. Number twos. And then I'm going to teach you a different incorporated norm that, according to what I understand, if I would have continued in 2004, consistent to everything that's been true about my background, one single phone call a couple of months ago, I got the answer. And I think it's self-explanatory what has happened between 2004 and 2012. There certainly is more clarification here, but thank you very much who I am. And also another thing too, that different incorporated norm can wipe out all of it. Wipe out every single bit of, for me, it would have been 44 years. And yet, if you put me exactly, regardless of this experience over the last 8 years, if you put me exactly in the same context with, 1967 through 2002, put me exactly in that same context at a later date, regardless of an injury, I'll pick up exactly in that original context, bundling up those tens of thousands, and I'll fully incorporate back in that norm very quickly. What's the wisest investment? Completely ulterior aspects that have nothing to do, that can wipe that out completely. I have a feeling now when somebody looks at these videos, the true background about what's been true for over 40 years is very apparent. You're seeing it now. You're seeing the whole thing. I can't even question the social sciences, how interesting this would be. And I'm going to be able to present that. Thank you. Thank you very much for letting me be and getting to know who I am, and I certainly hope I'm going to be at the mercy, God forbid, if the damage has already been done, to be able in about 6 months to a year, for the rest of my life, be able to experience that incorporated norm, or at the highest level of health, completely irrelated. All of that can be taken away. That's the difference. I've already explained it in the last video or two, and you've seen. Okay? Good. I'm going to do this again now, and I know I know the original one. I did a 10/4/2012 and 10/5 or 10/6, whatever the date is. Now, even though this is 3 days later, I'm going to put this one as 10/2012 revised introduction. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have to index. I'm going to have to make a chronological index the way I've indexed these videos, because the dates are jumping all over the place. I mentioned that from the first introduction. Chronologically, I'm going from earlier reference points to later. You can see in a whole lifetime. I've literally shared with you 50 years worth, and very selectively in that 2004-2012. I believe, without any question, you know me very well at this point. And do you really? Do you know me by a theory? It's not just a theory. There's all considerations taken into play for the truth to come out. I want the truth. Absolutely. Nothing is more important than the truth. Do you agree? I'll leave that up to you with what I have shared on these videos. I understand at the highest level that's actually legal ethics. Regarding some of this stuff I've actually shared, it is hard to believe. Then I'm going to go chronologically in 10-1, predate it. Now as I get current day, I've got 10 slots there. So I would predate it and possibly post-date it. Make the index so you understand. But you see it on YouTube formatted this way anyhow, but if for any reason it needs to be reconstructed, I want to have that index certainly on file. Thank you very much. Yes, tens of thousands of experiences. We probably do have that capacity to take tens of thousands of experiences and bundle them up together, a couple of words, sentences, and paragraphs. Isn't that truly amazing what our capacity is in proper context? And what are relationships about? Thank you for getting to know me. Thank you for letting me be who I am. Each day is a day of growth. Thank you. At the highest level. Thanks. Now you get to know me well. Really well.